what's going on? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone and DylanPickups.com. So, yeah, as y'all know, I bought a Kemper power head, and I told you guys I would be doing a serious kind of video series on this thing, and really I wanted to talk about a couple of things today, and one of them is what this thing actually is and what it's supposed to be and what it does, and my impressions of that. I think you know, as soon as I announced that I was going to buy one of these things, all my kind of like so-called tube junkie friends were like, I can't believe you're doing that, I can't believe you're buying a Kemper, I can't believe you're blah blah blah. And you know, the thing is, it's just another tool in the arsenal of things that you can use to make music, really. And for me, obviously, and I've mentioned this in some of my other videos, for what I do, it's an incredible thing. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I pulled it out of the box, I plugged it in, I started playing it, and I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I'll say that it was not what I thought it was gonna be for that first day. And then I realized something. All the profiles that come in here, not all of them, but some of them are not, they're not, straight up, they're just not really good profiles. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And what it really comes down to is the quality of the profile that you use is the quality of your sound. Because I think a lot of people think that this is like an amp simulator, that you'll be able to just have any amp sound at your disposal that you want. And that is true, but the way it works is when you take a profile of an amp, what a profile is it's basically a snapshot of that amp at a particular setting. So when you go and buy a professionally made profile, you know, like the ones I was just playing, you know, they use ridiculous microphones, Neve preamps. I mean, these things are done very, very well, and they take a snapshot of that amp at a particular setting. That happened to be a 65 Super Reverb clean. That is one of my favorite tones of all time, and I will tell you, it nails it perfectly. If the profile is done properly and very, very well, then it's gonna sound exactly like the amp that it was meant to profile. What it does not do is it does not make, and I think this is where people lose it on this, is they'll play through it and they'll say, well, I have a 65 Super Reverb and mine doesn't sound like that, so this thing is making it's a bad copy. It doesn't sound real because it doesn't sound like mine. This doesn't sound like every 65 Super Reverb. It sounds like the 65 Super Reverb that they used to make the profile at that setting. It is a snapshot of time. And so when you buy the profile, you buy there might be 8 or 9 or 12 or 15 different profiles that you get in that pack that are, well, here, I'll show you. So that was just a clean 65 Super Reverb. This is exactly the same profile pack with the 65 Super Reverb turned up to about 5. Might not seem like a whole lot of difference, but it's at the point of breaking up. So the bottom line is, we don't use amps super variable. We have 4 or 5 good settings that we use them at, and so that's what you're buying. You're buying a snapshot of an amp at 4 or 5 different settings on that day and time. So you can't just line it up against every amp and say, well, does it sound exactly the same? No, it won't, because every amp sounds different. I mean, every amp. I mean, this deluxe reverb that's sitting behind me is going to sound different than a different deluxe reverb down the street with a different speaker. On a different day, it's just going to sound different. This is a snapshot. If that snapshot is good, it's going to sound incredible. And the profiles that I bought the other day are good, and they sound incredible. Then once you get that clean, good amp profile in a couple of different ways, you know, like you know, super clean, and then like this one is a little bit broken up. Once you get that, then you can start adding things to it to make it yours, you know. So here is here's a tube screamer on top of it. Now, all the compression and everything that happens when we upload videos to YouTube are not going to give you what this thing sounds like in real life. It sounds different in real life than it sounds on YouTube. That's why you'll never see me do a Kemper versus AX8 versus Helix and upload it to the internet. You're not going to see me do those kind of videos because personally I don't believe that that is an effective. You have to just go play one because in the room it's completely different. Now on top of that, how you use this is also very subjective. The way I'm using it now is no cabinet simulators. I'm using it through a guitar cabinet that is not full range. So if with a speaker that is meant to kind of go with the super reverb style tone, many people recommend that you use a full range, full response cabinet, almost like a PA cabinet sort of, so that it can, and then use a cabinet simulator from in here, from the cabinet, the impulse responses, to get the most accurate. That way you don't have to worry about speaker cones and all that sort of stuff coloring the tone from one amp to the next. So there's all those variables in it that make this thing sound good or bad. So the guys that are like, oh, I played one and I just didn't like it, you will be disappointed in it if you spend 5 minutes with it and don't understand what it exactly does. If you spend an afternoon with it and understand how it works and what the technology is supposed to do, then you're going to find that it is a fantastic tool. It is unreal what this thing is capable of. And so, like right now, and I'm going to be honest with you, one of the speakers that I had in this box I didn't like, so I took it out and I sold it yesterday, so we're actually playing through 112. I'm about to rectify that situation. I ordered some speakers this morning, so to get the speakers that I want in here. And you might say, well, why don't you just get a full range, full response cabinet? You don't have to worry about what speakers are in the cabinet. That is what I plan to do, so that I have that aspect. We're going to get a full range, full response speaker in here. And we're going to use that for some things. But there, to me, personally, is nothing like having a 212 firing at the back of you when you're playing live. So I'm going to use an actual guitar cabinet for that. And I'm going to buy the speakers that work with my favorite amp profiles that I will use when playing live. So that's the thing. Everything can be colored within this. You can take the color of the tone that leaves the power amp before it hits the speaker cabinet and bias it one way or another depending on what speakers you have. There's all kinds of things that can be done, and I'll get into it as we build you know, various things. But this thing, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what it is and what it isn't, because some of the disappointment in new technology is misunderstanding. And the bottom line is, this thing is incredible. It is really, really good. And all the people that say, well, it doesn't feel, that's because you never played one. You gotta play the thing, and in order to understand how it feels. Well, just for fun, this is a Friedman Brown Eye. The reverbs are good, the delays are good, the overdrives are good. Some of the effects are a little bit boilerplate, but so much stuff is very tweakable so that you can make it really your own. And it takes a little time to understand it. I mean, obviously I'm just scratching the surface of this thing, but it is absolutely incredible. And over time we will show you some more of that. I just wanted to kind of give you my general impressions and why I feel the way I do about the thing. I will tell you, it took some getting used to understand it, but that's really the key, is understanding what it does and what to expect from it. You can expect a lot from it, but what you can't expect is for it to sound like every amp. It is going to sound like whatever amp you tell it to sound like, or whatever profile you bought. And of course rigs and compression and all that sort of stuff. It behaves properly. It does exactly what you tell it to do. That being said, good data in, good data out, bad data in, bad data out. So it's, you know, that's the way life is. It responds incredibly well to different pickup types, from P90s to single coils to humbuckers. It responds very realistically to those various inputs. And it's easy to use. Understanding what it does and how to use it are two different things. Once you understand the kind of the operating excuse me, the operating system and how it rolls, then it's super simple. It works real well. And it's very easy. And once you get rigs set up, like let me explain to you here. So let's say we have, all right, so here is here's that little bit dirtier super reverb tone. And then here is adding a little compression. You may not be able to hear much of this because of the way we've got it mic'd today. I didn't really go into a lot of time to mic everything. Here's a little bit of a tremolo. And I showed you the overdrive earlier. It's got a looper built in, it's got a strobe tuner built in, it's got, I can have 5 different amp rigs with different stomp boxes for each here, and then I can page up to 5 more. We can go up to like 186 different rigs. So, you know, I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's just, it is incredible. So as we go along, I'll show you a little bit more about the thing, but I just wanted to kind of give you my first impressions. I did a little live video on Facebook the other day before my YouTube audience, and for the Dylan Talks Tone audience, I just wanted to give my first kind of impressions of how this thing is. It is really, really good. And if you have not had a chance to spend some time with one, I suggest that you do it. It's not for everybody, and it is not to replace all your wall of tube amps, but it could, depending on the usage. So anyway, my name is Dylan, this is Dylan Talks Tone, and I just wanted to give you a little bit more on the Kemper Powerhead, and we'll get into some super specific stuff, and I'll show you exactly what we're doing. I hope you have a great day.